Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, your mind spinning in circles, replaying old moments or worrying about what's next? You tell yourself to stop, but your thoughts just keep coming, one after another, like waves you can't escape. If that sounds familiar, take a deep breath. You're not alone. Overthinking is something we all fall into, but it doesn't have to steal your peace. There's a quieter way to live, a way that feels lighter, calmer, and more real. And maybe, just maybe, we can find it together, right here. Sometimes, our minds get so noisy that even silence feels loud. You know that feeling when you try to relax, but your brain keeps pulling you back into the past or dragging you toward the future. What if I had said this? What if that goes wrong? We try to fix what's already gone or predict what hasn't even happened yet. And in the middle of all that noise, the present moment, the only real place we live, slips away unnoticed. Buddha once said, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." Simple words, but they hold so much truth, because peace isn't hiding somewhere far away. It's right here, in this very breath, in this heartbeat, in this small moment you're living right now. Maybe you're sitting in your car or walking or just lying down listening. Whatever it is, this moment is all that's real. The past is already a story, and the future is just imagination. When you let go of both, life softens. You start to feel lighter. There's a story I love about a wise monk walking beside a young student along a river. The monk stepped calmly into the water, but the student froze, afraid the current would sweep him away. Seeing the fear, the monk said, "The river always flows, but to cross it safely, you must trust each step." That's what it means to live in the present. When we're lost in our heads, overthinking, we stand still on the shore, afraid to move. But when we trust a step right in front of us, we move with life, not against it. Maybe life hasn't been easy lately. Maybe you've had too many what-ifs and not enough peace. That's okay. It's all part of being human. You don't have to figure everything out. You don't need to fix every memory or plan every tomorrow. You just need to be here, right here, breathing, feeling, being. Let your thoughts pass like clouds drifting through the sky. Let the river flow without trying to control it. The moment you stop fighting your thoughts, something beautiful happens. You begin to hear the quiet beneath them. You realize that peace was never gone. It was just waiting for you to slow down and listen. And if this message speaks to you, maybe take a second to subscribe or follow this channel. Not because you have to, but because this little space is here to remind you that calm is always possible. Each week, we'll take small steps together, learning to breathe, to let go, and come home to ourselves. You see, peace doesn't mean your life is perfect. It doesn't mean the world stops changing. It just means that even when things feel heavy, you know how to come back to this breath, this heartbeat, this quiet now. So if your mind is busy tonight, just pause. Feel your breath move gently in and out. Remind yourself, I am here. I am safe. I don't have to control everything. Maybe tomorrow will bring its own worries, and that's okay. You'll meet them when they come. But for now, just this moment, you can rest. You can trust that right here in this breath, you are exactly where you need to be. You know, sometimes we carry so much inside us without even realizing it. We replay old conversations, wonder if we should have done something differently, or wish we could go back and change how things turned out. But no matter how many times we revisit the past in our minds, it doesn't rewrite what's already been written. It only keeps us stuck there, trapped in moments that no longer exist. There's this quiet truth that takes time to accept. Not everything in life is ours to fix or control. Some things just happen. People leave, plans fall apart, mistakes get made. And maybe it's not our job to hold on so tightly. Maybe it's okay to let go and trust that life knows what it's doing, even when we don't understand it yet. Think about it like holding sand in your palm. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. But when you loosen your grip, it just rests there, soft and still. That's what peace feels like. It's not in the struggle, it's in the surrender. I used to believe that letting go meant giving up, but it's not that at all. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It just means you stop trying to control what was never yours to begin with. You stop wrestling with the past and start flowing with the present. You stop asking, why did this happen? And start whispering, maybe it's okay. There's a kind of freedom in saying, I don't have to fix this. A calmness in knowing that life doesn't always need our hands on the steering wheel. Sometimes we just have to breathe and let the road unfold on its own. Because even when it feels uncertain, even when we can't see where it's leading, the path always reveals itself one step at a time. And maybe you've been through something recently that left you feeling powerless, a loss, a disappointment, a change you didn't choose. If so, I want you to know something. You don't need to have all the answers right now. It's okay to not know. It's okay to take your time. Healing doesn't happen when you force it. It happens when you allow it. There's a saying in Buddhism, let go or be dragged. It sounds simple, but it carries a deep truth. When we cling to what's gone, we suffer twice, once for what happened and again for not being able to release it. But when we loosen our hold, even just a little, something inside us starts to breathe again. So maybe tonight, before you sleep, think of one thing that's been heavy on your heart. One worry, one regret, one thing you've been trying to control. And instead of solving it, just say to yourself, I release this. Maybe it's okay to let it be. You don't need to push it away. Just let it rest and trust that time and kindness and life itself will take care of what's meant to be taken care of. And if this kind of calm conversation feels like something your heart needs, I'd love for you to stay connected. Subscribe if you haven't, not out of habit, but because this space is for you. A little place where we can keep reminding each other that peace isn't something you chase. It's something you allow. So, take one more deep breath. Feel your shoulders soften. Let life unfold without rushing to fix it. Because maybe, just maybe, everything's already working itself out, even if you can't see it yet. There's something gentle about realizing you don't have to fight your own mind. For most of us, when thoughts come, worries, doubts, memories, we try to push them away. We say, stop thinking about it. Or, I shouldn't feel this way. But the truth is, the harder you fight your thoughts, the louder they get. It's like trying to calm waves by splashing the water. It only stirs up more. Maybe peace isn't about stopping your thoughts. Maybe it's about watching them come and go, like leaves floating down a quiet stream. You don't grab them. You don't chase them. You just notice them drift by, knowing they'll soon be gone. When you stop battling your own mind, something shifts. The noise doesn't disappear right away, but you stop adding more to it. You stop turning every thought into a story. A thought is just a thought. It doesn't define you. You can think something and still choose not to believe it. It helps to remember. The mind's job is to think. That's all. Just like the heart beats and the lungs breathe. The mind creates thoughts. Some are beautiful. Some are messy. Some are painful. But they're all temporary. They rise and fall, just like waves on the ocean. When I was younger, I used to think peace meant an empty mind. But real peace isn't emptiness. It's space. Space between you and your thoughts. Space wide enough for kindness to enter. Space where you can simply breathe and say, "It's okay. I don't have to fix every thought that passes through me." If you ever catch yourself overthinking, try this. Pause for a second and notice what's happening inside you. Don't analyze it. Just notice. Maybe you feel tension in your chest or a heaviness behind your eyes. Maybe there's a voice whispering fears that don't even belong to this moment. That's okay. Just see it, breathe, and let it pass. The Buddha once compared thoughts to passing clouds. The sky doesn't chase them or try to hold them still. It just allows them to move through. And beneath those clouds, the sky is always calm, always blue, always untouched. That's what you are, not the thoughts, not the storms, but the sky that holds it all. And if this reflection brings you even a little peace, I'd love for you to stay close. Subscribe if you haven't yet. This space isn't about preaching or fixing anyone. It's just a quiet corner where we remind each other that it's okay to be human, to have thoughts, to not always feel calm. Because sometimes peace begins the moment you stop trying so hard to find it. So tonight, when your mind feels busy, don't try to silence it. Just listen, softly, kindly, and whisper to yourself, "I see you. It's okay. You can rest now." The thoughts will pass, like they always do. And beneath it all, you'll find what's been there all along, a quiet, steady peace, waiting patiently for you to notice it. You know, one of the kindest things we can learn is that not everything we think is true. The mind loves to tell stories about who we are, what others think of us, what might go wrong tomorrow. Some of those stories feel so real that they shape the way we breathe, the way we walk through the world. But here's the thing. A thought is just a visitor. It shows up, stays for a bit, and then leaves when we stop giving attention. Maybe your mind tells you you're not enough, or that you should have done better, or that you've missed your chance. Those thoughts can feel heavy, almost convincing. But if you pause for just a moment and look at them gently, you'll see they're just words, just sounds inside your head. They're not the truth of who you are. They're simply passing clouds in the sky that's much bigger than they are. Buddha once said, "We are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think." But that doesn't mean we are our thoughts. It means we have the power to see them clearly and choose which ones to believe. When you learn to step back and watch your thoughts instead of being pulled into them, something beautiful happens. The stories lose their grip. You start to see that behind every thought, there's stillness, a calm awareness watching quietly, like sunlight shining through mist. Try this sometime. When a painful thought shows up, maybe one that says, "I'm not good enough," or "It's too late," just smile softly and say, "Thank you for showing up, but I don't need you right now." You're not fighting it. You're just choosing not to feed it. And in that simple act of seeing, the thought begins to fade, like a shadow losing shape under gentle light. When we believe every thought we have, we end up carrying the whole world on our shoulders. But when we start seeing thoughts for what they really are, fleeting, changeable, not always true, we become lighter. We start trusting the space beyond them, the quiet awareness that doesn't change no matter what the mind says. That's where freedom begins. And maybe right now, your mind's been loud, worrying, doubting, running circles. That's okay. Don't try to stop it. Just listen, like you'd listen to a friend who needs to talk. Then gently remind yourself, these are just thoughts. I don't have to believe everything I think. You'll feel something soften inside you, a kind of peace that comes not from control, but from clarity. And if this quiet reflection feels like a small breath of calm in your day, maybe stay connected. Subscribe, if you haven't yet, so that each week we can sit together in the stillness, learning slowly to listen to our hearts instead of our fears. So tonight, let your thoughts come and go. Let them rise, let them fall. And as they do, remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness watching them, steady and still, like the open sky that never loses its blue, no matter how many clouds pass through. There's a quiet power in the space between what happens and how we respond. Most of the time, we skip that space completely. Something upsets us, and we react right away. Words fly out, emotions take over, and before we know it, we're caught in another storm we never meant to create. But when we learn to pause, even for just a breath, everything changes. Maybe someone says something that stings. Maybe a plan falls apart, or someone you care about disappoints you. The first wave that hits is emotion, anger, sadness, frustration. And that's okay. Feel it. Don't pretend it's not there. But before you let it steer your next move, breathe. Just one deep, gentle breath. That tiny pause gives you a choice to act with awareness instead of impulse. Buddha once said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Those words hold so much truth because the pause isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's the moment your heart steps in before your ego does. It's where peace finds its way back into conversation. You might not always get it right. None of us do. Sometimes we still say things we don't mean or react faster than we'd like. That's part of being human. But even noticing that moment, even realizing I could have paused there, is already growth. You're learning to catch the wave before it crashes. There's a simple practice I love. When you feel triggered or overwhelmed, place a hand on your chest and just breathe. Feel the rise and fall. Remind yourself, I don't need to respond yet. You'll be amazed at how much softer life feels when you give yourself permission to pause. That breath becomes a doorway, a way back to yourself, to calm, to clarity. Sometimes that pause is just 2 seconds. Sometimes it's a whole night, but it's enough. Because when you don't rush to react, your words carry more kindness, and your actions hold more peace. You begin to see that not every fire needs your fuel. Some moments are better left to settle on their own. And maybe that's what wisdom really is. Not knowing all the answers, but knowing when to wait, to breathe, to choose silence over noise, to choose peace over pride. If these small reflections feel like something your heart needs, I'd love for you to stay close. Subscribe, if you haven't yet, and let's keep walking this gentle path together, learning not just how to live, but how to pause, listen, and truly see. So next time life tests your patience, remember this. Breathe before you speak. Feel before you act. And know that the pause, that quiet, humble moment of stillness, is not a delay. It's a beginning of peace. Awareness is one of those quiet things that changes everything. Not all at once, but slowly, softly, like morning light touching the edges of the world. It's the simple act of noticing, not judging, not fixing, just seeing what is, the breath moving in and out, the way your feet touch the ground, the thoughts passing through your mind, the emotions rising and falling in your chest. Awareness is coming home again and again to this moment, just as it is. We often think spiritual growth means big revelations or dramatic changes, but most of it is small, a breath, a pause, a moment of noticing before you speak, before you react, before you drift away into thought. Every time you remember to return to the present, even for a second, That's awareness. And each of those small moments adds up, slowly shaping a quieter, steadier mind. Buddha taught that awareness is the path to freedom, because when you're aware, you stop living on autopilot. You stop being dragged around by habits, fears, and emotions. You start choosing, gently, intentionally, how you want to live. Awareness gives you space. It lets you see that you're not your anger, you're not your worry, you're not your thoughts. You're the one noticing them, and that makes all the difference. Try bringing awareness into small things. When you drink your morning tea or coffee, feel the warmth in your hands. When you walk outside, notice the air on your skin, the sound of leaves, the rhythm of your steps. When someone speaks, really listen, not planning your reply, not judging, just hearing. Awareness turns ordinary moments into living prayers. And it's okay if your mind wanders. It will again and again. The goal isn't to stay mindful all the time. It's to notice when you've drifted and gently come back. That returning, that soft, humble, oh, I'm here again. That is the heart of practice. You don't need hours of meditation to live with awareness. You just need small reminders throughout the day. Breathe, slow down, notice. Every time you do, you're training your mind to come home. You're teaching yourself that peace isn't somewhere else. It's right here, underneath all the noise. And if you're listening to this and thinking, I want to feel more of that calm, maybe stay connected, subscribe if you haven't. This little space is here to help you remember, one day, one breath at a time, that awareness isn't something you learn once. It's something you live moment by moment. So tonight, before you close your eyes, take one slow breath. Feel the air enter and leave your body. Whisper to yourself, I am here. That's awareness, not grand, not loud, just real. And if you keep returning to it, you'll notice something beautiful. Life starts to feel softer, deeper, and a little more like home. Awareness is one of those quiet things that changes everything. Not all at once, but slowly, softly, like morning light touching the edges of the world. It's the simple act of noticing, not judging, not fixing, just seeing what is, the breath moving in and out, the way your feet touch the ground, the thoughts passing through your mind, the emotions rising and falling in your chest. Awareness is coming home again and again to this moment, just as it is. We often think spiritual growth means big revelations or dramatic changes, but most of it is small, a breath, a pause, a moment of noticing before you speak, before you react, before you drift away into thought. Every time you remember to return to the present, even for a second, that's awareness. And each of those small moments adds up, slowly shaping a quieter, steadier mind. Buddha taught that awareness is the path to freedom, because when you're aware, you stop living on autopilot. You stop being dragged around by habits, fears, and emotions. You start choosing, gently, intentionally, how you want to live. Awareness gives you space. It lets you see that you're not your anger, you're not your worry, you're not your thoughts. You're the one noticing them, and that makes all the difference. Try bringing awareness into small things. When you drink your morning tea or coffee, feel the warmth in your hands. When you walk outside, notice the air on your skin, the sound of leaves, the rhythm of your steps. When someone speaks, really listen, not planning your reply, not judging, just hearing. Awareness turns ordinary moments into living prayers. And it's okay if your mind wanders. It will again and again. The goal isn't to stay mindful all the time. It's to notice when you've drifted and gently come back. That returning, that soft, humble, oh, I'm here again. That is the heart of practice. You don't need hours of meditation to live with awareness. You just need small reminders throughout the day. Breathe, slow down, notice. Every time you do, you're training your mind to come home. You're teaching yourself that peace isn't somewhere else. It's right here, underneath all the noise. And if you're listening to this and thinking, I want to feel more of that calm, maybe stay connected, subscribe if you haven't. This little space is here to help you remember, one day, one breath at a time, that awareness isn't something you learn once. It's something you live moment by moment. So tonight, before you close your eyes, take one slow breath. Feel the air enter and leave your body. Whisper to yourself, I am here. That's awareness, not grand, not loud, just real. And if you keep returning to it, you'll notice something beautiful. Life starts to feel softer, deeper, and a little more like home. You know, sometimes we speak to ourselves in ways we would never speak to someone we love. We replay our mistakes. We point out every flaw. And we carry the weight of guilt and regret long after everyone else has moved on. It's almost like we forget that we, too, are human, trying, learning, stumbling just like everyone else. But here's the truth. Peace begins when kindness turns inward. Being kind to yourself doesn't mean ignoring your faults. It means holding them gently, the way you'd hold a fragile bird, with care, not criticism. It means saying, yes, I messed up, but I'm still learning. And that's okay. Life isn't asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be present, to be real, to be compassionate, especially with yourself. There's a story in Buddhist teachings about a traveler who carried a heavy bag of stones. Every stone represented a harsh word, a regret, a self-blame he refused to let go of. One day, he met a wise monk who simply asked, why do you keep carrying what hurts you? The traveler stopped, looked at his bag, and for the first time realized he could set it down. Maybe you're carrying your own bag of stones right now. Old mistakes, things you wish you could undo. But what if you didn't have to carry them anymore? What if you could simply say, I did the best I could with what I knew then. Because that's the truth. You did. And that's enough. Buddha once said, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. That's not selfishness. That's wisdom. When you start treating yourself with tenderness, something inside you heals. You stop being at war with yourself. You start speaking to your heart the way a loving friend would, softly, patiently, kindly. And maybe today, you can do one small act of kindness for yourself. Take a quiet walk. Rest without guilt. Forgive yourself for something small. Whisper, it's okay. I'm still growing. These little moments of gentleness are not weakness. They're how peace begins to bloom inside you. If these words touch something in you, if they remind you to soften a little, maybe stay close. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Not for me, but for you, because every week we return to the same reminder. You are worthy of the same kindness you give so freely to others. So tonight, when you look back on your day, don't focus on what went wrong. Instead, place a hand on your heart and say, I'm proud of myself for trying. Let that be your prayer, your peace, your beginning. Because the truth is, the moment you start being kind to yourself, life begins to feel gentle again. It's not easy to keep your heart open in a world that sometimes feels sharp. When people hurt you, when life disappoints you, the natural reaction is to close off, to build walls, to protect what's left inside. You tell yourself it's safer that way. And maybe for a while, it is. But after some time, You start to notice that the walls keeping out pain also keep out light. You stop feeling the depth of life, the joy, the connection, the wonder that makes it all worth it. Keeping your heart open doesn't mean letting everyone in or pretending nothing hurts. It means staying soft in a world that can be hard. It means feeling deeply, even when it's messy. It means choosing to love, to forgive, to care, even when you've been hurt before. Because when you close your heart to pain, you also close it to love, and love is the one thing that truly heals. Buddha once said, "Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love." And love, in this sense, isn't about romance or big gestures. It's the quiet willingness to see the good in people, even when it's hard. It's the courage to understand instead of judge, to listen instead of argue, to forgive instead of holding on. Maybe you've been hurt by someone who never said sorry. Maybe you've lost something you thought you'd always have. And now there's this ache inside you that makes you want to shut down. I know that feeling. We all do. But here's something gentle to remember. Healing doesn't come from closing your heart. It comes from keeping it open long enough for light to enter the cracks. You can protect your peace without building walls. You can set boundaries without hardening your soul. It's not about letting everything in. It's about not letting pain turn you into someone you're not. Because beneath all the fear and hurt, your heart still knows how to love. And that love, quiet and steady, is stronger than anything that's ever tried to break you. So if you're listening right now, maybe take a deep breath and soften just a little. You don't have to forgive everything today. You don't have to fix every wound. Just promise yourself you won't close off to life. Let yourself feel again. Let yourself trust again, not because everyone deserves it, but because you deserve peace. And if this space feels like a place where your heart can breathe, stay a while. Subscribe if you haven't yet. This little corner is where we keep learning how to live with open hearts, not perfectly, but honestly. So tonight, whisper to yourself, I choose to stay open, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, because that's where life flows, not through walls, but through hearts that keep choosing love over and over again. Peace isn't something you find once and keep forever. It's something you choose again and again every day, sometimes every hour. There will be mornings when you wake up calm and centered, and others when your mind feels like a storm. And that's okay. Peace isn't about never losing your balance. It's about learning how to return to it, no matter how many times you fall. Some days, you'll forget everything you've learned. You'll overthink, react, worry, or hold on too tight. You'll catch yourself slipping into old habits, old fears. But when that happens, try not to be harsh with yourself. Just notice, breathe, and gently come back. Each time you return, you're strengthening that quiet muscle of awareness inside you, the one that knows how to let go, how to forgive, how to soften. Buddha once said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." And the more you live with that truth, the more you realize peace isn't something the world gives you when things go right. It's something you bring into the world, even when things go wrong. It's the way you speak, the way you listen, the way you choose love when anger feels easier. It's in the way you pause before reacting, the way you breathe before judging, the way you forgive before bitterness grows roots. Life will keep testing you. People will misunderstand you. Plans will fall apart. The path won't always be straight. But through it all, you'll always have this choice to return to peace, to take one slow breath and remind yourself, I can meet this moment with calm. And maybe that's what the whole journey is about. Not becoming someone who never feels pain, but someone who knows how to find peace in the middle of it. Someone who remembers that even in chaos, There's still stillness underneath it all. If you walk through these reflections with me, if these soft, simple words have helped you breathe a little deeper, I want to thank you. Truly. And if you'd like to keep walking this gentle path together, subscribe so we can meet here again. Each week, one breath, one lesson, one quiet reminder at a time. Because peace isn't a destination. It's a practice, a way of living, a choice you make over and over in small, steady ways. So wherever you are, take a deep breath right now. Feel the air fill your chest. Feel your heart slow down. Whisper softly to yourself, I choose peace. And when life gets loud again, as it always does, come back here, back to your breath, back to your stillness, back to the part of you that has always known how to be calm. Because peace was never lost. It's always been waiting for you, right here inside your quiet heart.